Jones, I hope that you're all here enjoying this basketball game. 62-56. Portland has played an excellent basketball game, but probably more important, the excitement here, the excitement for the voice of the Portland Trail Blazers, Bill Schonely. 1,000 and counting. That's really very special. Give him a special hand. I want to bring the man who made it all possible for him. Come on out here to center court, Harry and Bill Schonely. We have a very special gift for you. I'm not going to give you anything. We're going to let the man that brought you here do all of the honors. Harry, you're going to come on out and make a presentation to Bill Schonely. You're full this one now. Thank you, Steve. Ladies and gentlemen, in about 2 weeks, it will be exactly 13 years when the Trailblazers were awarded a franchise in the National Basketball Association. And our list of about 300 things that we have to do to get ready, everything from picking our nickname and colors, to selecting a coach. One of the things we have to do is select an announcer for our radio broadcast. I have known Bill in your state as a broadcaster for the Seattle Colts Hockey Club, at which time I didn't like it too well. But he was available, came down here, and little did I believe that in that time, Rip City would become part of the English language. Bill, I hope the prize that we have in store for you tonight is to present all the way from Molokai to You're kidding. He's here. Marge, here she is. There you go. And here is a video game. You record all those games you never get to see when you're out on the road with the Trailblazers. Bill, you've done a great job of making all of them. I'll just congratulate you. Big guy. You got some special wishes from all of your friends in Molokai. Congratulations, 12,666. Let's see the hands.
My guest tonight on Face to Face at one time wanted to be a mortician. Now he's the last of the original Trailblazers. We'll visit tonight with Bill Schonely at his home here in Lake Oswego, and we hope you'll join us right after these messages.
Out of the Blazer backcourt. Donahue will the ball to the near side. To Patchen from 15.
For a dozen seasons, Bill Schonely has been the voice of the Portland Trail Blazers. Schonely's play-by-play is as much a part of the team's identity as its players. An original with the club, Schonely missed only 2 Blazer games until he suffered a massive heart attack in 1980. He missed several more games while he recuperated from quadruple heart bypass surgery in the fall of 1981. Schonely and his wife Barbara have 4 children and 2 grandchildren. The Schonleys maintain homes in Hawaii and Lake Oswego. Tell me about this desire to be a mortician.
Well, many years ago, when I was in high school, my last 2 years of high school, I went with a young lady whose mother worked at a funeral home in my hometown of Norristown, Pennsylvania. And so they needed some people to drive cars or the hearse or to work behind the scenes, as it were, and I was fascinated by the business. And I wanted to become an embalmer, a funeral director.
Actually went to school.
I went to school for a while, but it was right after the war, and the schoolroom was very, very crowded. And I finally became an embalming school dropout. But I really wanted to do it, Mike, yeah.
Tell me about the war. What did you do in the war, Daddy, when your grandchildren ask you that question?
Well, I was in the Marine Corps and went in before the Korean War. I was overseas, Guam and Saipan and Tinian, and I really didn't do much. I never did get to Korea. I don't know why. When I go to my great reward, I suppose I'll find out. But I met my wife on Guam. We were married on Guam. Our first child was born on Guam, and everything started there. I was Armed Forces Radio.
You played football on Guam?
I played football on Guam, that's right, and began actually a major part of my broadcasting career on Guam with Armed Forces Radio Service.
That's where you discovered radio and it discovered you?
Well, I really started in radio a little bit prior to that in my high school days. A little radio station went on in town, and a lot of us did little 15-minute and half-hour shows and one thing or another. But that whetted my appetite. What
was it about radio that attracted you? What did you like about it?
Well, I enjoy radio to this day because it's a challenge to create a picture of what you are talking about. And when I'm doing a Trailblazer game or a sporting event, it's a real challenge to me to try. I always have the listener in my mind at all times to create a picture to tell him so he feels that he's right there. That's not always easy to do, and I might not come up with it every time, but that's what I try and do. And I've been blessed, Mike, by being able to be involved in all parts of the radio and television game at one time or another. When I worked down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at old WAFB down there, we worked on one side of the street as radio disc jockeys. I did sporting events for Louisiana State and high school football, Class D baseball. Then we would walk across the street. I was the booth announcer at the television station. I had my own half-hour television show, interview type of situation. Worked the camera. Well, we did everything. And wrote some scripts. So it's a good background for me. But I really finally wanted to get involved in sports, so I've stayed with that.
So you went from Louisiana to Seattle. What made that big move to the West?
Well, Barbara and I and our 2 children at that time were in Baton Rouge, and her mother and dad were in Seattle, and her mother was ill at the time, and her dad said, Bill, could I come down and get Barbara and the 2 children, would be Steve and Linda, and go to Seattle for a while, and he was starting a new business type of thing, and 2 weeks, and I said, sure, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month and a half, 2 months, and I said, hey, what's going on here?
Take my wife away that long.
She said, well, I can't come back right now. My mom's not feeling very good. I said, okay. So all of a sudden, I called her up one day and I said, hey, I don't know who you listen to in Seattle, but call somebody up and say, your husband's in the same type of business. If he should ever come to Seattle, who should he see? So by golly, she did. And to make a long story short, I quit in Baton Rouge. I might still be there today for all I know. Went to Seattle sight unseen. Saw this guy by the name of Gil Henry, who was at KING radio in those days. And in 2 days, I had a job at KOMO, and I've been here since 1955.
Mm-hmm. How many sports have you covered or broadcast?
Well, I think from roller derby and wrestling right on down the line to rodeo and, of course, Husky football and Major League Baseball, Pacific Coast League Baseball. I put the Seattle Tacoma hockey broadcast on the air up there. And I've done just about everything.
What's your favorite?
I suppose my deep-down favorite sport is hockey, really.
Hmm.
Only I can remember my dad taking me to a lot of hockey games back in the Philadelphia area many, many years ago, and I've always been fascinated with that, and still am. And then the last thing I did in Seattle before we came here was in 1969, the ill-fated Seattle Pilots, who are now the Milwaukee Brewers, still named the starting lineup of that team. And they folded, and through my hockey association with Harry Glickman, he offered me the Trailblazer job, and I've been here ever since, 12 years already.
When Harry Glickman asked you to come to the Trailblazers, you'd never done pro basketball before, had you?
No, I had not done professional basketball before.
What was the source of his faith in you?
Well, I suppose what we said earlier in the program, that was my ability to create that picture, I suppose, and the excitement, and he knew what I did in hockey and in baseball and in Husky football, and offered me the job, and I accepted it immediately. I had done basketball before, but on the high school and college level, but never in the pro ranks.
Did you ever play sports?
Oh, just a little bit. When I was in the Marine Corps, I played a little football, and in high school I played basketball and some baseball and a little bit of football. But I was always involved in music in my younger days, and speaking.
Music. What did you do in music?
I was a singer.
In a choir, a quartet?
Yes. Well, mostly in a choir, in church choir. Background is a lot of sacred songs, and also I did a lot of the show tunes, Oklahoma type of things, and as a matter of fact, they'd say, Shawnee, where'd you go to college? What's your school? And they always cringe when I say, well, I went to Westminster Choir College. Where is that? Princeton, New Jersey. That's true.
That's your alma mater.
That's my alma mater. Didn't have any sports, but a lot of good voices.
Do you still sing? Do you like to sing?
Oh, I do. I'm a frustrated singer. A la Bing Crosby.
Gosh, do you have a piano in the house? We could have you hum a few bars, huh?
No. But I did a lot of that in my younger days.
In the years you've been with the Trailblazers, who have been some of your favorite people?
Well, I suppose the fellow that I'm working with on the broadcast right now, David Twardzik, has to be a very big favorite of mine, because I wouldn't be sitting here with you today. It wouldn't have been for David when I had my heart attack over in Pendleton. But I've enjoyed Ollie Johnson. I was always very sorry to see Ollie go. He's with the Philadelphia 76ers now. Jeff Petrie, and a lot of the guys from that first-year team, Jimmy Barnett and Leroy Ellis. That's always sort of special, I suppose, because it was that first-year team, and I could go on down the line. I've been very fortunate to become friends with, well, I would say all of them. I even got along with a guy by the name of Bill Walton. A lot of other guys didn't, but I did.
Is that because of your sense of humor, do you think?
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
They tell me that you are the brunt of many jokes on the road trip.
They just nail me time and time again, Mike.
You mentioned Jimmy Barnett. Was he the inspiration for Rip City? I've heard that. Is that true?
That's a true story. How did you find that out?
Well, tell me more about it. I don't know a great deal about it.
The first year of the Trailblazers, I was trying to come up with the phrase that would be synonymous with the broadcast, other than the normal things that you would say during a basketball game. And I couldn't figure one out. So this was about halfway through the season, and the Los Angeles Lakers came to town for the first time. First big crowd we had at the Coliseum, near 12,000, between 10 and 12, as I recall. And the Lakers had Chamberlain and Rudy LaRusso and Elgin Baylor and Jerry West and all that crew. And a typical Trailblazer night in those days, down by 15 to 20 points, not going to go anywhere. And then all of a sudden, to make a long story short, the next basket would tie the ball game, and Portland had come back from down 15 or 20. And Jimmy Barnett, you never knew what Barney was going to do. So he came over the midcourt line and threw up a howitzer. And it went in. Now, I don't know what I was going to say at the time, but something like it ripped the twine or whatever it is. And I said, Rip City, all right. And that's how that started. So the Lakers immediately called for a timeout, gave my commercial cue, and the guys along press row said, Rip City, is that what you said, Bill? I said, yeah.
What did you say, huh?
Leave that in. So that's how that started.
What do you like to do with your spare time, when you have any?
Well, I really don't have a hobby, like being a photographer or working in the garden or something like that. I suppose my hobby is going to other sporting events.
A fan?
A fan, absolutely. listening to other guys broadcast or telecast, relaxing at the beach on my little home away from home on the island of Molokai over in Hawaii. That's what I like to do.
Is that where you'll retire, do you think?
Well, that's where we would like to, yes. We're starting a little business over there, my wife and I. We made a little commitment to get ourselves ready for future years. And she's over there now, and I will join her as soon as possible. And they're starting a little store over there, getting into the athletic shoe business and the clothing line and furniture rep, things like that. Not a big thing, but we have a home over there, and we like the island of Molokai. It's very small, quiet, 5,000 people, 35 miles by 7 miles wide. It's just nice. I'm feeling pretty good, Michael. About a couple of weeks ago, I had a few days where I thought things weren't right, but I had a checkup and I was all right. I'm doing everything they tell me to do.
What have they told you to do? How's it changed your lifestyle?
Yeah, it really has changed my lifestyle. I'm not doing a lot of the extracurricular things that I used to do, speaking engagements, public relations, appearances, and things like that. They just want me to slow down. They feel, at least as of the moment, the game is enough, and my traveling. And I try and do as much as I can for everybody. I have a tough time saying no, but I must do that. I think that was part of the problem. I was doing too much at the time, and finally it caught up with me.
So you'll acknowledge that now, that your lifestyle was partly to blame?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I tried to take care of myself as best I could, and I really thought I was doing a good job, and I felt good. But all of a sudden, I had that heart attack that day, and that was it. And no warning whatsoever.
Do you think about life and death more than you did before?
Oh, yes. I've been allowed to, by the man, to stick around. He gave me 2 more chances. So I'm going to stick around for a long time, I hope.
How did your family react? How did they take this?
Well, I guess everybody was in a state of shock for a while. But they really helped me and gave me a lot of encouragement. And the people in Pendleton at the hospital, the doctors, Meridian Park, and Good Sam, they couldn't be better. Sensational.
Then later came the quadruple bypass surgery.
Right, October the 30th, the opening day of the season. Did the preseason and really had quite a bit of difficulty getting through the preseason games. And then just...
How was it affecting you? What was the problem?
Well, I had trouble breathing, and the angina started to come back on me again. And I can remember the next to last game, we were in Spokane, and Dave Twardzik and Ron Cope and I were walking around the streets of Spokane, and I said, I'm going back to my room. I thought I was going to pass out, and I guess I did for a little while. Then we had our last game down in Corvallis, last preseason game, and the next day I went in to have a checkup, and they kept me in the hospital, and they opened me up. But I feel good.
Are you back to 100%?
I would say pretty close. As long as I watch myself, and I do a lot of walking, I try and swim when I can. With the good weather coming up, I'll do more of that. I ride my bicycle, watch you on the news, and do my little bike up in my bedroom.
You mentioned your wife, that she's in Hawaii right now. You were married for a time, and then divorced, and then you remarried the same lady again.
That's exactly right. Love is better the second time around.
Did you make a mistake somewhere? What caused...
No, I think it takes two. And this was when we were in Seattle, and I was doing many, many extracurricular things other than my job, doing a lot of speaking engagements, doing everything for everybody, burning the candle at both ends, all working. And I was never home when I should have been. And I traveled with the baseball teams and the hockey teams and whatnot. And we sort of drifted apart a little bit. And as soon as it happened, just a month or less than a month after the divorce was granted, we both realized that it was wrong. And so we immediately got together again.
Well, that's a great story. Have you changed in that regard? Did you say, I won't do this anymore, I won't burn the candle at both ends, I'll spend more time with you and the family?
I did say that, yes. And then in the early days when we came down here, I was doing that again. But the children were a little older, and Barbara and I were older, and we realized how to pace ourselves and everything. We love each other very much.
How do you rate yourself as a father? You mentioned these other obligations tore you away from home at times.
Oh, I probably could have been a better father, but I've tried to do my thing. The nice thing about it, my kids have always known, because we've always been involved in sports, and even the youngsters, the boys and Linda. And now my son-in-law is involved in the National Hockey League. We've been a sports-oriented family. And me being a broadcaster, they could always hear their daddy. Even though I was gone on the road, they could flip on the old dial there, and there I was. But I wasn't home. But the children accepted it very, very nicely.
That's good.
I think they like me. I don't know. They've never said.
If this is sensitive to you, say so.
Not at all.
Your oldest son, you've had some difficulties with him, some problems. Can you share that a little bit?
Well, he's...
Struggle for you?
No, it's not a struggle for me, and I don't think it's a struggle for him anymore either, Steve. He is our oldest. He had a bad drinking and drug problem, as a lot of young people did, and he tried to rectify that a number of times, and faltered a number of times. But as far as I know, he's doing very well now, and if he's tuned in, just keep it up. He's doing fine.
I know that was a struggle. I talked to Walter Cronkite, and he had a couple of teenage daughters who went through that period of time when there was great rebellion in our land. And,
Yeah,
so
that was part of it, yeah.
So you experienced that as well. It must have been rough, though, trying to decide what to do as a father. How
yes,
to reach
it was.
out.
It was very tough for Barbara and myself, and it was tough on Steve's brothers and sisters, because they saw what was happening. They saw a lot of things that opened their eyes, and that their own brother could do what he did. But fortunately, that's all behind him now, and everything is fine. But it was tough.
Your daughter, is she middle child, last, youngest?
Next to last.
Next to last.
Yeah.
And she
Oh,
has,
excuse me. I beg your pardon. Forgive me. She was the second. Steve and then Linda.
and she has been the mother of two youngsters who are now your grandchildren.
My grandchildren. That's
How's
right.
it,
Carrie
how's
and
it
Missy.
being a grandfather? Is that something?
Oh,
you
I
do?
love it. I always thought many years ago, I said, I will never admit to being a grandfather. But when it happened, sensational. I love it. Yeah, Linda, I suppose, is sort of my pride and joy. She's our only girl. And we've been very close. I'm close to all my children, but she and I have been especially close.
She helps
And
you.
she's married a good guy, too, even though he is a Canuck.
He's a hockey referee, I understand.
A hockey referee, yes. Yeah.
Sports really sounds like it has been the unifying force in your family.
Yeah, it has been, and it's been very nice.
Just all natural sports fans? They just grew up hearing Dad cover the ball games.
And they played them all. I can remember years ago when we were in Seattle taking Steve and Rick and even young Bill, who now is going on 22. They played hockey down at the old ice arena, and we'd have to get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and put the gear on and take them down, or take them out to the baseball diamond. I tried to do everything. I used to do some coaching when I could, fitting it all in.
How would you like to be remembered if someone was writing an epitaph about you in your life?
That I was able to provide some entertainment for the people who were listening to me, and if I satisfied them, I would satisfy, myself. That's a tough question.
Do you see yourself as an entertainer then? Is that your image of yourself?
I suppose, sure. Yes, we are entertainers. I told you earlier, first and foremost in our business, I think I am a reporter, but I'm also an entertainer, too. And if I have been able to create that picture for the people who are tuned my way, whether it's radio or television, I will be satisfied.
Hello. So say the people who know him best, his family and friends. As he puts it, I've cheated death twice in the last 18 months. I intend to live life easy from now on. And no doubt the Schonz is thinking about that little retirement business in Hawaii. But when he sits down behind that microphone, wherever he may be, mellow or not, he's looking forward to only one thing.
From 15, to left.
Good night.
The moment that you speak, I want to go play hide and seek. I want to go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. Oh, you and I are just like a couple of tots running across a meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, yeah, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Jim Lynam just leans over and told me, he said, he gets the vote for most courageous tonight. Bill Schonely singing the national anthem, and he joins a very elite group. We had the old P-picker on there, Tennessee, Ernie Ford, and I tell you, I'll give my vote to the Schonz. Not that he sang better, it's just that I have to work with him. But the Schonz singing the national anthem, and he did a very, very